Hi, it's Victoria. So for my recycled puppet, I decided to do a dolphin. Mm. I made it out of a water bottle, a Walmart bag, a styrofoam plate, and then at the bottom it's a napkin. I guess to be more interactive, what I can add to is like a string to bring it down to like flop more. But I was thinking that it kind of does it by itself if I go like that. So what I plan on using this for, in a sense, is an introduction to my lesson, which is going to be discussing how human activity and um, humans on Earth basically affect the environment, such as agriculture or the sea. But what my class will be focusing on is the sea, so sea creatures and how they're affected by human environment and human activity. Um, Now, it could be how the sea creature is affected by itself or how its environment is affected, because either way they suffer dramatic, exponentially from like what humans are doing. Um, so so yeah, this would be the part where I read the story. The book that I plan on reading to the students to introduce them to the idea is Saving Tally, an Adventure into the Great Pacific Plastic Patch. And basically it follows a story of a turtle and her friend lobster, and basically they kind of figure out that their environment or their sea world isn't as safe as they would like it to be or that they thought it would be. And it just helps kids understand basically plastic pollution and how that affects sea creatures. So following basically my puppet going on and talking about reading the story, then afterwards we would have a discussion where I'd also use the puppet for like fun and like talk, and I could even like pass it around so students could put on the puppet, and that would be a sign of like, okay, it's their turn to talk, so no one please disrupt or anything like that. And then afterwards the student can choose someone else to pass the puppet on to, or I can, and basically that'll just help further discussion. And then after basically the story and the discussion about plastic pollution, I'd move on, and we would basically each student would choose a sea creature that they would like to do a portfolio on. The portfolio won't be very long. I'm thinking maybe like 4 pages, because like it'll be like written responses and everything like that. And then at the end they'll still have to make a puppet, so I at least want this to be in a weekly kind of stretch, and that's it. And then the puppet would kind of be like on a Thursday, and then Friday would be presenting and just talking about your project. So basically in the portfolio I would want them to state the animal they chose, why they chose it, and then like why they like it. And then the next page would basically be, okay, what human activity is hurting this, or like what plastic is hurting this, hurting them or their environment, and why this is like bad for them. And then the last page would be to kind of research a solution. Now, obviously, I understand that, there's not a solution yet, but it would just be a step in the right direction in creating a safer place for the animals. So, yeah, so that would probably be as long as the portfolio I'd want them to be. And then afterwards, I have them creating a puppet, would be more like interactive. I've already created one for them, kind of as an idea. I was thinking about stick puppets because I felt like that would be easier for the students, because, I felt like this one might be a little too complex, but I mean, if, they're down, maybe I'll still give them other options. This is kind of only a draft of this. So basically what I have is a turtle right here. I made it out of paper and construction paper. Sadly, I didn't have any glue or glue sticks, so I just used tape, and I taped it like on it like a shell. Now this is just like a basic one, and I'd probably make more a detailed one for them. Like in class, if this was an actual lesson, I would do, but right now I just kind of like did a basic one. And yeah, so it was like pretty easy. I like the stick idea because, you know, like it can move around like a sea turtle, and I really like that. Woo. And it's easier for them to hold. I didn't want them doing too many like actually like talking with it, because then, you know, maybe, and you know, they can decide while they're kind of like presenting it whether to use the puppet to present it, you know, like create their own scene and then like have the puppet like talk about it, you know, like that. That would be kind of cool. I guess that's some other kind of details I'd have to like process my own self and decide what would work and what wouldn't work. And then in the middle, I have given it a name, Tyler the Turtle, because I felt like that would make it more personal to the student. And things that become personal to students allow them to kind of attach to the idea a lot more and allow them to like understand the lesson a lot more. So yeah. And I was kind of debating on whether or not for them to write even like a little paragraph, like, this is Tyler the Turtle. He loves to swim all day, and his favorite meal is like jellyfishes, which also is really hard with plastic in the ocean because sometimes turtles swallow trash bags thinking they're jellyfishes, which really can harm them. So I'm kind of debating on whether or not I would put that, but I feel like they'll spend enough time kind of like creating it, so I probably won't, but I still will allow them to like put a name. As you can see too, there are other ways that they can like make it more interactive. Like we have like little floppy parts. And, you know, I was thinking like putting another piece of paper to make it look like it could open. But again, these are just like ideas. I'm debating on whether or not to do. And this would be more for a third grade class, I think I targeted it for. I feel like if you want to go upper grades, because human impact on environmental issues or animal is always followed up in all of the science grades, but it just depends on how complex you want to make it, how hard you want to make it. Like if I was doing 4th grade, 5th grade, I'd probably do this puppet because I think they'll be able to like do it more, figure out like the constructions of what they want to put it, you know. So I think that would be really good. Tell a story like this. Hi, boys and girls. My name is Delilah the Dolphin. How are you today? So, yeah. And for the equipment, I kind of do use the basic like construction paper, tape, glue, color pencils. I was thinking paint. That would probably get a little bit messy, so you probably want to set out like things for it to make sure that it won't go everywhere, and that would probably be for the higher grades because they'd probably be able to use it a bit more responsible and not like mess around in it. So it just depends like on the grade level that you're doing, how complex you want to make it for them. So I just did mine basically with 3rd grade, but I put 3rd through 5th because it is a subject that repeats in multiple grade levels because it gets more, you know, complex. So yeah, that's my lesson. I hope you liked it. This was actually kind of fun to make. I really like this. Ooh. So thank you for listening today. So yeah. And I think also, if just one more last thing, like if you were to make it out of like the recycled material, you can even tell like how each one affects it. So, you know, the water ball is not biodegradable, probably take a long time to, you know, break down in the ocean. And when they do, miniature plastics are still stuck in the ocean. Styrofoam is not biodegradable at all. And then, you know, trash bags end up suffocating them and they can't breathe. So that's really bad for dolphins. And just like little things, sometimes the pollution in the ocean can affect their fins, cut their fins, which make it really hard for them to swim. So yeah, so that's just my lesson. I find it very interesting. I love this Common Core standard because I feel like it's really important, especially with everything going on right now. So yeah, thank you. Bye.